The following conversations are taken from our channel membership exclusive weekly live show that we do on Saturdays from 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time called Members Talk Live. Find out how you can become a member and appear on the show. All of the information is down in the description below, as well as all of the links to the channels of today's guests. Check them out, and I hope to talk with you very soon. Today's show is a little bit different than what we've been doing. We've been covering one topic for 1 hour. We've been guests on one at a time or all together. Well, today we're going to be doing an all together show, but we're going to be covering 4 different topics. They're going to be news topics. And I'm very excited to get into this with the guys to hear all the different perspectives on these. We're going to talk about the passing of Michael Gambon, our Dumbledore. We're going to talk about Oceangate. Titan is looking to be getting a movie. The Office reboot. I've talked about it on Zach Miller Talks Live, but I want to hear what these guys have to say about it. And DCEU characters that are going to be coming over to James Gunn's DCU. We're going to talk about all that and more, I'm sure. And let's just get our members in here. Let's start with Jonah from the Cosmic Broadcast. What's going on, man?
Zach, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're at. How you doing, man?
It is a good morning for me so far, man. I've been up for an hour. And I've just been kind of like getting ready for this. So I'm having a good one. How's your afternoon going?
It's good. It's going good. Definitely really excited about this topic and ready to collaborate with some awesome YouTubers.
All right, man. Well, let's get some more awesome YouTubers in here. We've got Frank. What's going on, man?
Not too bad. How's it going, everybody? How's it going, Jonah and Zach?
Yeah, we're doing well. And I can see that you've got like a new setup for Members Talk Live coming on here.
This is everything. This is my whole life behind me and right in front of me.
It's the whole space. That's awesome.
Yes, it is.
That's awesome. It looks good. Let me just say that, man. It looks good. Is this the camera you'll be using for like videos and stuff going forward as well?
Going forward, mostly I have the intention to use this mostly for live streaming. I still have my camera, which is a bit visible right there behind me, for video creating and editing and for the main content. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, it looks great, and I'm excited to be seeing it a lot more. And we've also got Dark Movies in here. What's going on, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing really well, man. What time is it for you? I'm always curious, Dark. What time is it for you over there?
7 p.m. 7:05 p.m.
Sleep has nothing on Dark Movies.
Yeah,
you've had a full day.
That man looks sleep in the face every single day and says, "Not today." Not
of course,
today.
Not this one.
There it is. Oh, yeah.
Sleep.
Ready to defend yourself. I'm convinced you just don't leave that chair. I'm convinced that you're just there 24/7.
Maybe no.
No comment. Well, that's
No
awesome,
comments
man.
right now.
So,
but,
it looks like this is going to be our members for this topic. Maybe some other ones will jump in there. And if you guys are watching and you want to jump in, you're more than welcome to do so. But let's just get started with this, guys. We got some sad news this past, I think it was only like a couple days ago. I think it happened on Thursday. Michael Gambon has passed away at the age of 82. Of course, playing Dumbledore. And I believe the last 5 Harry Potter films, because Richard Harris was in the first 2 or 3. I can't exactly remember.
It was the first 2.
The first 2? Okay. So yeah, and then Michael Gambon took over as Dumbledore, and I think he's the Dumbledore that I more so latched onto. Maybe that's also because he just had more movies to, perform in than Richard Harris did. And, I'm not like the biggest Harry Potter fan. I didn't grow up with the movies. I wasn't really allowed to watch the movies when I grew up. They were kind of, in a Christian household, they weren't exactly welcomed. But I caught them like when I was like 18, 19 years old. I watched them all for the first time, and I enjoyed them. And I really enjoyed the character of Dumbledore and Michael Gambon's performance of Dumbledore specifically. He really was kind of like what Hogwarts, the head of Hogwarts, and when you saw him in Hogwarts, it was this kind of welcoming feeling, and I think that was a lot of Michael Gambon's performance that did that. So I'm curious what you guys' relationship with Harry Potter is. Did you grow up with it? And your memories of Michael Gambon, even outside of Harry Potter, if you've seen him in anything outside of Harry Potter. Let's start with you, Frank.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've since Sorcerer's Stone that premiered in 2001. I've been following the franchise just religiously and all the way. When it got to Prisoner of Azkaban, which is the third movie, and I was pretty oblivious as far as like entertainment news. I had no knowledge regarding like Richard's passing up until like I think it was like a little bit later after the third movie came out, which is when I was told like, oh yeah, they've recast it because Richard passed away, and now Michael Gambon is gonna uh, uh, to fill in that shoe. And it was a little weird at first when he first appeared on screen. I was like, is this the same Dumbledore? Wow, they really did quite the makeup.
You noticed the difference?
Uh, I know. I mean, immediately when Michael showed up at that scene when they arrived at Hogwarts, the usual opening in during the first act in the third movie, um, is is when I reacted and realized like, well, this isn't Richard, or is it? It was a little conflicting, but then throughout the third movie, it was started to settle in a little bit. I mean, Michael just captivated the essence of Dumbledore of who he is, how he portrayed him, his quality, just his personality. Also, like okay, this still works either way. So he did an amazing work, just carrying the role all the way to the last film.
Beautifully said, man. Beautiful. How about you, Dark Movies? Do you have any history with Harry Potter?
So, I mean, it's always sad when actors die, you know. Even I still haven't seen Harry Potter or anything. I, I haven't even seen him in any project. So, I'm not familiar with his work or in or acting. But I mean, all I can say is like it's always sad when actors die, you know.
Yeah, no, for
That's
sure.
why. So,
I
yeah,
mean, the
that's
age of
basic.
82, though, the age of 82 makes it a little bit easier to digest because that's a pretty full life. It's some
Yeah.
would still say a little young. He could have had at least another 8-10 years, but yeah, that very well said, Dark. Very well said. How about you, Jonah?
So, Zach, I think you and I have a lot of similarities in this area just because I also did not watch Harry Potter for the first 17, 18 years of my life.
Yeah,
Knew it existed, but never really got to partake in that series. But um, unfortunately, I didn't even get into the entire series, even when I did choose to watch it, because I sat down and watched the first Harry Potter movie with a friend, and that was it for me. Not because I didn't want to watch more, it was just because it wasn't for me. And it's one of those things where,
yeah.
it's not really a debatable topic. I can't debate it because I really don't have much to say on it, but it wasn't for me. I was like, you know what? I'm a Star Wars guy. I don't even like Star Trek. So for me, it was like I was a pure blood Star Wars fan, and everything else to me wasn't big on my priority list. So after the first Harry Potter movie, I just kind of moved on. But I was doing some thinking after I heard about his death, and I was like, you know what? I feel like this for Harry Potter fans is like when Christopher Lee died for Star Wars fans and for Lord of the Rings
Mm.
fans. It was kind of the same feeling. And so as I was trying to sympathize and relate to the Harry Potter fans, I feel like that's where we found the most common ground because it was an old actor, very well established, who unfortunately passed away, but like you said, at a older age. And I was like, you know what? This is probably the same type of feeling. And so once I was able to kind of find that common ground, it made me truly understand how impactful this character of Dumbledore was for Harry Potter fans and just how much they cling to that memory, especially because I know he was recasted, like you guys mentioned. So I mean, I know enough of the basic plot and lore and stuff like that to know that that wasn't the original Dumbledore, but it seemed like a lot of fans of Harry Potter all agree that he was phenomenal. So Saruman and Count Dooku for me was Christopher Lee, and I was like, man, to have a childhood hero like that pass away is still heartbreaking. So that's kind of where I was at.
Absolutely. I think that's very well said. Well, Michael Gambon, his performance and his legacy as Dumbledore will live on. All that he contributed to that franchise will be enjoyed and watched by many more generations down the line, and he will definitely be missed but not forgotten. So thank you, Michael Gambon, for everything that you contributed to not just Harry Potter, but the film industry in general. And with that, guys, we're going to move on now. We're going to move on to the next topic. And this topic, I think, might be a little controversial, but I'm really curious to see what you guys think of this. So it was only a couple months ago the story of the Oceangate Titan was happening. And if you guys weren't paying attention to the news or Twitter or anything, what Oceangate Titan was it was basically these millionaire, billionaire people. They wanted to see the Titanic, and they got into this vessel, which if you looked at it, you could probably tell it was not very safe, or at least I would not think it was reliable. It was controlled by a PlayStation controller, for crying out loud. Anyways, they got into this vessel. These men, one being a 18-year-old kid who went along to just like appease his father. His father really wanted him to come. They went to descend to go see the Titanic, and within like I think half an hour, maybe an hour, their radar senses got lost. No one could find them anymore, and they were gone for at least 3 days. They had 72 hours of oxygen. After 72 hours ended, it became a search of debris, not so much the people. Anyways, they kind of figured that the vessel imploded within that hour, and they were never trapped under there together. But even the thought, like that was something that really captivated people for those 3 days, was like the thought of being trapped in that tiny little vessel, knee to knee with all these people, slowly losing oxygen. It was a horrifying situation to think about. It horrified the world. It captured the world. Well, leave it to Hollywood to find tragedy for entertainment. And it looks like they're working already on an Oceangate Titan movie. This is coming to us from Variety. It says the missing Oceangate Titan submersible tragedy from earlier this year is being made into a movie. Mind Riot Entertainment and producer E. Brian Dobbins, the producer of The Blackening and Blackish, are making a movie about the Oceangate incident. Dobbins will co-produce, and Mind Riot's Justin McGregor and Jonathan Kesey will write the film. So we've also got DJ here joining us. It looks like he's not on screen, though, so I'll wait to bring him in until he returns. But anyway, guys, with this tragedy being very fresh in people's minds, being very fresh in history, how are we feeling about them already making a movie about this? And I'm going to bring DJ on now, whether he's ready or not. Here we go, DJ. There we go. It's DJ. What's going on, man?
Hey guys. Sorry I'm late.
That's okay, man. That's totally fine. We're just talking about the Oceangate Titan getting a movie. Did you remember that story, the Oceangate Titan?
I do not.
No? You don't remember that? Okay. Basically, these millionaires went into this vessel, descended to the sea to go see the Titanic. They were lost within an hour, and they figured the sub imploded within that hour. But for a long time, people thought that they were just missing down at the bottom of the ocean. So with that being caught up, they're now talking about making a movie about this incident. So let's start with you, Jonah.
If I may.
What do you think of this? Were you following the story when it was developing?
I was definitely following with there's a lot of people at work as well. We were kind of comparing notes and updating each other with news and stuff like that. So we were following the whole process. Now, in regards to the movie, I want to quote an age-old quote from SpongeBob SquarePants with Mr. Krabs. And when he was talking to the news reporter, and the news reporter's like, Mr. Krabs, why did you open up a second Krusty Krab? And he said, money. She's like, aren't you worried about having a second Krusty Krab? Money. And that's literally what Hollywood's doing right now. Is Hollywood will never, ever, ever fail to capitalize on something that is current and try to make money off of it. So I'm not surprised, but I also don't know what their angle is. Is it supposed to be I know the director that wrote or the writers who did or was it the director who did Blackish? Producer, that's what it was. I don't know what the fit would be for this movie. Like what's the angle they're taking on this? I hope it's not something that has a lighter mood. Like if they're going to do it, make it more of a grounded, realistic portrayal so that it does justice to the people who lost their lives. I just don't know what the inspiration would be other than to capitalize on a recent news event that people will recognize. And Hollywood in general has been very lackadaisical in whatever content they've been producing, and it seems like they're desperately just trying to find a win somewhere, especially with the writer's strike concluding. Looks like they're trying to, build themselves back up, but this is not the right way to do it. And although I understand why, like we said before, it's all because of the money, I still don't know how this is going to go over well when it comes to audience reception.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think you bring up two interesting points as well, with the producers being the Blackening and Blackish, which are both comedies. I mean, I haven't seen Blackening. I'm looking forward to watching it, but from the trailer, you could tell it was like a dark comedy kind of spoof on some horror movies. So it's really interesting that these specific people are going to be tackling this intense, heavy subject, and also, like you were saying, with the liberties of it and all that stuff, like what angle are they going to go by, right? Because either angle that you go by, you either have to take liberties with it because no one knows what was happening within the vessel. So if you're going to tell a story from within the vessel, you've got to make up what the characters were doing and how people were acting down in the vessel. And if you take the angle of people of the world who are just looking for the vessel and looking for these people, either way, this ending is going to be a bummer. I mean, the ending is just going to be not a feel-good ending, that's for sure. But how about you, Frank? What do you think of this story? Were you following the story while it was developing in real time? And what do you think of them making a movie about it?
So I'm going to start off with the component of like following the story as it unfolded, because honestly, for me, I was basically, it was so easy to come across the memes that were just floating in cyberspace about the whole story, the submarine. But I was planning on watching that same interview that James Cameron was called for. I forget from which source, but they brought him in. They brought him for an interview, and it was virtually. I remember in regards to the whole idea to spend millions of dollars in order to go on an expedition to see the Titanic wreck, and honestly, after hearing this, it always comes down to the same question I always ask when an idea of film, whether it's documentary or a motion picture. I always say, who is asking to see this? Who's asking aside from Hollywood, but what consumers are asking for a documentary or a film in regards to this? We know the story, we know what happened, we know why, but really, who is asking, and will there be a possibility that people would want to even go? I don't know if this is going to be released in theaters for a short time or just straight to streaming. And the other part of it, which I didn't know from the producer who did those two comedy series, like how is that going to fit to this story?
Yeah.
So I don't know why. It's always going to be a question of like, why?
Yeah, for sure. I think you bring up something that I wasn't even considering that kind of makes me a little bit more worried, is the whole angle with how the whole tragedy on the internet with the meme culture was totally mocked and joked. And honestly, like, those memes made me angry. Those memes really bothered me when I saw them on Twitter. I muted the word Oceangate and all this stuff because it was just so cruel, especially when it was at the time when everyone thought that these people were trapped at the bottom of the ocean in a small vessel losing oxygen. And there was just all these jokes about them, dying, or the rich dying, or the kid took over the controls because he thought it was a PlayStation, stupid kid. But it's like, that's a real kid that went through this horrific tragedy. And so if they look at it from that angle too, where they bring the meme culture in and the jokes and all that, that could be very upsetting for some people as well. But DJ, having just heard about this tragedy and what's going on, do you have thoughts about them making a movie out of this?
Yeah, I just went into, boy, my camera seems to be
bugging
out on me today.
Dude, you are glitching right now.
Yeah, I am. I don't know what's going on. I'll just talk and then I'll try to fix the camera after I'm done talking.
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, that's good. So I just went back and looked at some article, and that may be why my camera bugged out. Looked at an article to read about it. I do remember hearing a little bit about this, but honestly, I don't keep up with news if it's not movie news myself. I just it frustrates me, so I don't watch it. So I somehow missed most of this whole ordeal when it was going on. I will say it's exactly the type of thing I expect them to make when an event like this happens. Like I'm fully on board used to seeing Hollywood do this. I think it's an interesting story. It will probably get some views. I don't know. Did you say if it's something that's just coming to a streaming service, or is this?
There's no word on it yet. If it's coming to theatrical,
it's just something that's in the works.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it would fit better on something like a streaming, like a National Geo or something like that. When they're talking about it, I mean, depending on how they're doing this, if it's a full-length movie, it might be a little different. I'm really not sure. I don't have a whole lot to say on this other than it is an interesting story, and I'm not surprised they're doing it.
Yeah. How about you, Dark?
So yeah, so I'm young, and I was actually following the story. I heard of the story, and then I was interested in it. So I was following it, and it's I kind of agree with everyone else. Just why are they making it? But I also understand, or didn't really what I'm gonna say. I am kind of suspected that they were going to make it, and I've seen in comments way too soon, and yeah, it is way too soon for making this movie. I feel like it's if they are going to make a movie, at least wait 1 to 2 years at least, and because to at least respect the ones who have passed away and their family and everything like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the thing too, right? Is we're following this, so the movie's just starting to get into development. So by the time it comes out, it will be a year, maybe 2 years removed from the actual event. Right now, it's a couple of months, so it feels very, very jarring. But I just want to go into the comments a little bit. 80s Kid from the 90s, just a 1 month of being a member. Thank you so much, man, for being a member. It's amazing to have you here, dude, and I'm so appreciative. We got Austin in here, Aaron Austin, saying hello to everybody. He's also asking why would they make a movie out of this? It's way too soon. A doc is more understanding. I agree with that. If this were going to be a documentary, I think you brought it up, Frank, that it could be a documentary. A documentary is a little bit different to me because that's kind of recounting history. It's kind of teaching about what happened in history, and it's usually taken with more sensitivity. You'd have people who were close to the victims come in, probably do some interviews, talk about the victims, who they were as people, and then how the tragedy unfolded, and they'd probably dive in more about what was wrong with the submarine and all that kind of stuff. Whereas just making it a movie, they're going to focus on, all right, so do we make this a drama? How do we make it as dramatic as possible? Do we make this a thriller? How do we terrify audiences by putting them into the perspective of being in this vessel? And who knows, maybe they could also make a movie about with it being sensitive to the situation and also being a cautionary tale of sorts. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But before we end this topic, let's buy or sell it. So for buy or sell, we're gonna do thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up is you think this is a good idea, I buy it. Thumbs down is I sell this idea, I don't think they should do it. So on the count of 3, let's give our buy or sells. So 3, 2, 1, buy or sell.
My thumb and my toe is going down.
Perfect.
That is commitment.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
I love that. And yeah, Austin too, giving a thumbs down.
There we
All
go.
right.
So where's the idea? Who made the idea?
Get him, Dark.
Dark is coming for you, whoever made up that idea.
Ah.
All right. With that down, guys, let's move on and let's talk about this. The Office came out recently, and it's apparently getting a reboot. Now, this came out of some journalist's newsletter that he had. The Wrap reported on it. The Office reboot is in the works, with Greg Daniels returning, who was one of the original showrunners of the original show. And this was just kind of in this journalist newsletter of being like, hey, you know what? When this writer strike is over, you know, you're going to get a flood of announcements coming out about things that were in development that no one talked about because they didn't want to break guild rules. Like, for example, The Office is getting a reboot, and everyone was just kind of like, wait, what? The Office is getting a reboot. So that's really all the information that we've had on this, is that The Office is getting a reboot. There's no talk about characters coming back. There's no talk about whether it's going to be done Dunder Mifflin, the paper company, anything like that, cameos from previous characters coming in. No information. So just based off of the idea, it's just The Office is getting a reboot. First of all, put up your hand if you watched all of The Office.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so just me and Jonah. Just me and Jonah. Okay, have you guys watched any of The Office?
I watched
No?
a few episodes.
A few episodes? Okay. Zero episodes. Okay, well, I'm going to start with Jonah then, and we'll get what you think about this, man. What do you think about The Office getting a reboot? Do you think it's a good or bad idea?
Yeah, for sure. So in a world of remakes and reboots, and Hollywood seemingly unable to come up with a creative idea themselves that actually involves doing something new, I was not surprised, but I was definitely like, okay, if you are an Office fan, you know that even though they did their best in the last 2 seasons, when Michael left, it did not maintain the same level of quality. And the show writers knew it, the producers knew it, the director knew it. Everybody involved were like, how are we going to keep Steve Carell on? And then once he left, because of money and miscommunication and all that kind of stuff, they were like, we need to find a way to salvage it. And so Michael, in a way, was the de facto main character for 7 seasons. And the weight of his presence left such a big hole that they kept trying to desperately shuffle in a new main character every single like every 3 to 4 episodes, and it wasn't working. And they tried eventually to make Dwight the main character, and you know that did decent enough to carry it to its final season in season 9. But at the end of the day, it was still never that same level of quality that maintained the first 1 through 7 seasons. The problem with this reboot is it a true reboot? Is it an extension? If you bring back these old cast members and try to rebrand it, that's not going to go over well, because you're, once again, it's like Daredevil Born Again. Is it going to be retconning all of what came before? Because Daredevil seasons 1 through 3 are peak cinema. And are they just going to ignore all that, or are they going to just pretend like it never happened? That's what I'm worried about with The Office is, are we going to pretend like The Office never happened, or are we going to do like a spinoff like they were going to do with Dwight and Mose? I just don't know what the plan is for that. And if they're not bringing back Michael, if they're not bringing back Dwight, they better hope that they have somebody that's half as charismatic in order to like basically sell tickets and get butts and seats to sign up for Peacock or whatever it comes out on to watch this. Because as a lifetime diehard Office fan, it's going to take a lot to convince me that this deserves to be made, or else it's just going to be retreading old things, and we've been down that road before.
Yeah, no, for sure. DJ, did you watch The Office?
Yeah, I tried to watch The Office. It's not for me.
No.
I got through the first 2 seasons, and because everybody said after the first season, no, give it another season. The first season was a bad one. I watched the second season and I fell off. There were some funny moments. It just wasn't something I enjoyed. I did go back and watch some Office episodes of the UK version, and I liked it a lot more. But you know, that's just my own personal comedy likes, I guess. A reboot, I think this has been done enough. And we have plenty of other shows that try to copy The Office that have been out there. I just don't think we need this. Maybe 20 years from now, reboot and start again with fresh technology and new things that are happening in the world to give us a different perspective of what The Office is 20 years from now. But right now, I just don't see a point.
It is kind of interesting, though, that you bring up like maybe in 20 years from now, because it does feel like The Office is so prominent right now. Like it's so in our culture. Everyone talks about it. It feels like people have like just discovered it, but it ended a decade ago. Like I feel like people kind of forget about that. Like the show ended in 2013. Mm-hmm. It's been a decade since The Office has been on the air. And since The Office has been off of the air, you know, pandemic happened. A lot of stuff has changed culturally with office culture. There's actually a lot of differences between the world of 2013 and the world today when The Office was on the air, that I don't know, there is something to this idea that I think they, if depending on how they execute it, what their idea is, like, I don't think you go back to Dunder Mifflin. I don't think that you should do it like a copy and paste of the original show or the US show. I personally would prefer all new cast of characters, get some new comedians in there, get some fresh blood, like that group, that ensemble was so incredible together, and they brought their own comedic senses to the roles and to the world and to the comedy. Bring some new people in, bring some new senses of humor and comedy. Let them make this their thing, and I think it could be another fun rendition of, because the US version was already the second rendition of The Office, right? So it's not like it was the first OG Office. Like DJ mentioned, there was the UK version and then the US, and if they had never done the US version, we'd never would have had the US version. So it's very possible that another version, it might be worth doing. But what do you think about this, Frank? As someone who's never watched The Office, but we live in this culture of reboots and remakes. Do you think The Office, because I'm sure you've heard of people talking about The Office, I'm sure you've seen memes, I'm sure you've seen the culture of The Office out there.
Tons.
Do you think, maybe even just on paper from a business side, do you think that this is a reasonable, good idea?
Hollywood is getting very bored of coming up with original ideas. Really, it really is no surprise. I mean, you take a look at Full House. They created Fuller House for Netflix. That's basically in itself like a sort of reboot per se. Then you take a look at thinking of oh gosh, this other series that I was thinking about. Oh yeah, that CW series, Gossip Girl, and they rebooted it for HBO Max, but then it got canceled after, I think, season 2, and then a whole dozens of other that I can think about right now. But you should. I mean, it's safe to conclude that it's no use to spend time. I mean, there's no doubt that Friends was considered to be creative, to be a reboot, but they ended up doing a documentary instead of a reunion, and I think that was like last year that they released it.
2021, yeah.
Yep. The year before, which I loved it. It was great. I enjoyed it. But honestly, if this is a route they feel like they want to go to, and just shoot for a reboot of The Office, and God knows what other series they want to take and just remold it, and then just put it on our plate to just enjoy. I mean, yeah, they can try. It's not gonna guarantee that that it'll stimulate my motivation to watch the original series or the Yuki series. I mean, like I said, I've only seen a few episodes, and like DJ, it just didn't really grab me as much as it did for you guys. It grabbed my boss. Is a huge fan of The Office, and so and I remember also my younger cousin was trying to get me into it also, and yeah, but that's as far as I can say it as far as creativity goes. So
yeah, that's fair, man. And dark movies, based on your knowledge of The Office and what The Office is, any interest?
I've been wanting to see this. Okay, I'm the youngest, and this is going to sound very my generation. Very my generation. I've seen clips on TikTok, and I want to see it.
You've seen clips on TikTok, and that's enough for you not to want to see it.
No, that's enough to me want to see it. I want to see it. Okay. It looks fun. Looks at least decent, and I guess I'm open for a reboot, but like, was it necessary? Was it really necessary? I don't think so, honestly. And yeah, do something original, please.
Yeah. I think your audio's cutting out a little bit, Dark. I don't know if anyone else is hearing that.
Yeah, there's a little clip out.
A little bit, yeah.
But yeah, so The Office. Oh, I'm sorry, Zach. My bad.
No, go for it.
So The Office is definitely a YouTube clip kind of show. A lot of people will just watch The Office to look up YouTube clips, like when Dwight did something funny or Michael did something stupid. So that's definitely a big consensus for a lot of people. But also, the one thing I wanted to run by you, Zach, is as someone who's also watched The Office, with the branding that they had of just they had a lot of raunchy humor. They pushed the envelope a lot of controversial episodes, just a lot of stuff that, to be honest, made The Office, because I'll be the first to say that's what makes it stand out is you never know what Michael's going to do. You never know what Dwight's going to say. And there's so much just chaos that could happen at just a snap of a finger that, to be honest, I feel like may not work as well in modern society. Part of what you said of a full reboot, do you think that The Office can pave its own way in the future with a rebranded type of comedy?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is it's going to be whether or not audiences latch onto that or not. Because you're going to have those diehard fans of The Office. And a bit, like you were saying, too, a big part of The Office was kind of like the humor held back nothing. like they would say and do things that on paper you would think would get the show canceled. Like the minute that they said it, the minute that they did it. But the way that it's presented, the way that they executed in the show, there was always a sense of like not innocence, but like almost like naiveness, especially with the character of Michael. Like Michael was an idiot. Michael said a lot of things that were very, very problematic, but they made the Michael character someone who had a great heart. And he was always trying. Yeah, he was trying to come from the right place, but he always ended up fumbling the ball every time that he tried to do it. I mean, Diversity Day, anybody? That episode is wild. And Scott Tots.
I still can't go back and watch that. When I watched it once, I said never again. I can't do it.
Yeah, there are some episodes that are like really brilliant in like just the way that they could be cringy, but yet they made you laugh because it felt like this is not what they're supposed to do on TV, and that's what kind of made it funny. I don't know if the culture's there anymore. I don't know if The Office, maybe not so much even the culture, but just like the Hollywood system in general. I feel like there might be some more tiptoeing around some of the humor of today. I feel like there's some things that in the original Office, they may feel a little bit more hesitant to put into the show, which could hurt the comedy as well. But also, it is a way that they could make it their own show. Like maybe you don't do the more problematic, controversial humor and jokes, and maybe you try to do it a little bit differently. Which again, that's going to be the audience whether or not they're going to latch onto it or not. But I want to ask DJ and Jonah and even Frank and Dark if you guys want to join in on this too. We haven't really gotten any more information besides the fact that The Office reboot's coming. And we're kind of all thinking about it as like, oh, there's going to be a new show, a new series, whatever. It's possible that they could get the cast together for a movie. It's possible that they could be thinking of something like that, right? We have no other information. So what I want to throw out there before we move on to our next topic is, would you guys want an Office reboot as a show, whether with the original cast or a new cast or a mixture of both? Or do you think that they should do a movie? I'll start with DJ.
Oh boy. In one hand, I want to say that a movie might be better because I can watch it and be done with it. But on the other hand, I just got through watching for my Does It Hold Up review, which I'm late getting out, but I just got through rewatching Batman 1966. And for 20 minutes, I was enjoying it. Just to give you a spoiler of how this is going to go, that shit got old quick. I feel like Office for an hour and a half to 2 hour format, it's going to start to get old with that type of humor after a little while, that long at a time. Now I know there's people that just binge it and keep watching over and over again. It doesn't bother them, but for a person like me, like after 20 minutes, I'm gonna be tired of that. I ain't gonna want to finish that movie.
That's fair, man. How about you, Jonah?
I feel like the Office movie would appeal way more to fans of The Office, and then a rebooted Office TV show would appeal more to the general audience because, well, first of all, I don't think they're going to bring back the original cast if they do a TV show. I find that very highly unlikely because that's way more of a commitment. And I feel like if they convince the original cast to come back, I would rather it be a movie. It's kind of like Community. I don't know if you're a fan of Community at all, but I know Community is also working on a movie as well, where they're bringing back pretty much all the original cast. And for me, I don't care what it is. If it's a movie, if it's a TV show, just let there be a creative idea behind it. Because we've seen what happens when things get greenlit that have no purpose other than member berries. You know, hey, remember this? You remember that? You like this. As long as they have a story to tell, or if they make a movie and they make it an hour, 20 minutes, they better know what they want to do with the cast that they have, whether it's new or returning. And that's really my perspective on it, is it doesn't matter if it's a movie. It doesn't matter if it's a TV show. It may impact certain things like contracts, actors, storyline, all that kind of stuff. But if they feel like, or if they have a story to tell, go for it. Doesn't matter what it is. But if there's no passion behind it, we'll know pretty quickly.
Absolutely. How about you, Dark? Do you have any opinion on show or movie?
I mean, I'm kind of agree with DJ there. Like, movie, I could be just watch it and be done. Never watch it again. Leave it in the garbage. But honestly, like DJ said, like, could I be interested in watching so much humor in a, I guess, 1 to 2 hours span and like stuff like that? I know I would be interested in that. I would watch both ways though. Anyways, so
awesome. And how about you, Frank?
Yeah, I'll cast my last vote and go for a movie. Absolutely, because I mean, I would always, even if it's from a series that I've never been following just consistently, I'd still be down to watch something good. And The Office, The Office really does have that huge credibility for good humor. I'd absolutely be down for that.
All right. I think I'm in minority. I think I would want a series. And I think I would actually be okay with the series with a whole new cast. I honestly think that this is an idea. This is a show. This is the format of a show that lends itself to a bunch of new comedic talent. I would love to get some more I'm never going to say no to more comedy. I'm never going to say no to more comedic talent. I think it could be a great launching point, like it was for a lot of these comedians and actors, for a whole new generation, whole new set of comedians. And if it was going to be a movie, though, I think it could be fun to do it as, like, because The Office isn't a mockumentary, documentary type style, just make a documentary called The Office and just do it as, like, a straight documentary. I think that would be a really unique way to do a movie like that. But a straightforward...
I'd be more interested in that.
Movie. Yeah, you'd be more interested in something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, something like... do you guys ever see Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping?
Oh, yeah, with Andy Samberg?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that movie's so, and it's played like a documentary.
Yeah.
So if they did something like that instead of like a straightforward, just like narrative, I guess, for lack of a better word, I think that could be cool. So I guess with that, guys, we'll just we'll buy or sell this idea. I think DJ might have missed it, but we're doing buy or sell for these ideas. So if you buy it, if you like it, thumbs up. If you sell it, thumbs down. So The Office reboot, do we buy it or do we sell it? 3, 2, 1, go.
But they're on thin ice.
They're on thin ice.
Thin ice.
We got thumbs up from me, Jonah, Frank. We got thumbs down from DJ, and we got a so-so. He's kind of halfway through with Dark. All right,
leave it to DJ to stay against the grain all the time.
DJ, you got to keep it up, man. You got a reputation.
Let's see here. We'll go into the comments real quick. We'll see. Austin says he'd rather have a spinoff of Parks and Rec. He wonders if the offices will exist in 20 years. The entire show will be through Zoom. It's a very good point. He says our wallets and watch time will speak for itself when the reboot happens.
Yep.
He also gives the idea a thumbs down. And 80s Kid from the 90s gives 3 thumbs down to this idea.
Are we split?
I think
it's
so.
4-3.
Yeah, close to it. I mean, he's got 3 though, so I think he kind of takes the lead with the thumbs down. All right, and with that, we will move on to our final topic that we have for today's show, and that's going to be talking about the DCEU, because what else do we talk about around here nowadays, right? So James Gunn has come out. He's talked a little bit more about what to expect from his DCEU. This comes to us from Dark Horizons. that says that there's been confusion about who exactly is coming back, not helped by online speculation. But Gunn himself is now taken to Threads, the new Twitter of Instagram, to clear up that confusion. Nothing is canon until Creature Commandos next year, a sort of aperitif to the DCU, and then a deeper dive into the universe with Superman Legacy after that. It's a very human drive to want to understand everything all the time, but I think it's okay to be confused on what's happening in the DCU since no one has seen anything from the DCU yet. And yes, some actors will be playing characters they've played in other stories, and some plot points might be consistent with plot points from the dozens of films, shows, and animated projects that have come from DC in the past. But nothing is canon until Creature Commandos and Legacy. He also went on to confirm that only 3 actors are locked in to retain their roles: Zolo Meridueña as Blue Beetle, Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, John Cena as Peacemaker. And it's not on here, but yesterday I saw that Vigilante from the Peacemaker show has also been added to that list of actors as well. So there's actually quite a bit here, I think, to unpack. Let's start with, first of all, let's start with the whole idea of nothing being canon until Creature Commandos. But, you know, there'll still be plot lines that are pulled from the dozens of other shows and animated and movie stuff beforehand. Do you guys feel like that cleared things up for you in some ways, or does it just feel even more confusing? DJ, let's start with you.
Sure. First of all, since you mentioned Threads, I'm loving Threads, and part of the reason for that is James Gunn. I'm loving all the things he's putting out on there. It's a lot of fun to read and watch. I feel a lot better about it after hearing a little bit more of what his plan is. I mean, I'm assuming that means that the storylines that we've seen, we can just, if we want to consider that in our own headcanon, we can. If we want to just not, maybe it won't be referenced that much, that kind of thing. That feels good to me, the way that is going. And these are all characters that they're not major characters. I mean, even Blue Beetle, we've had one movie and there was no references to anything else in. Waller, Peacemaker, Vigilante, these guys are all in the DC. I would consider them B. Maybe Waller's a little bit bigger than a B character, but you know, if you're going to move people over and keep certain people, these are definitely the ones that I'd be okay with keeping.
All right, well said. How about you, Jonah?
At this point, my mindset is let's get on with it. Let's do it. For me, it's like speculation and conversation has lasted for years. I'm ready for some actual action. So I don't really care at this point. I'm grateful that James Gunn has provided a little bit more direction, but let's do it. Like, you know, let's start with these new projects, and let's get this party started, because I think just waiting and talking has led to a lot of discourse and a little bit of animosity on the internet. And I think it's time to get the ball rolling.
All right, fair enough. How about you, Frank? How do you feel about this whole nothing's canon until Creature Commandos? But, you know, there's some things that happened before that we might carry over in storylines and plots. And I don't know, man. What do you think of these comments?
Yeah, all I could say is I would say the same thing as I would say in regards to Feige and the MCU side of it. But with James Gunn, and the article proves, it demonstrates it with what he says, according to his thread, is really trust. I trust what he's doing, and you know, I would encourage many viewers, many DCEU fans also to just go exactly like what Jonah said. Just get the ball rolling, and go with how things are being constructed, bits by bits. Yes, it's very slow, but you know, this is where patience is being tested. So you know, just calm down, and it'll come bits by bits. It'll be something that'll surprise everybody. So I'm here for it, and I really can't wait. You know, I do want to see season 2 of Peacemaker. So
yeah, a lot of people do, for sure. How about you, Dark?
Yeah, so I'm glad that the article said last year and next year, because I just want to start with this because I thought that Creature Commandos were going to come out like 2026. I was like, doesn't Superman Legacy come out in 2025? So like, how does that work? So I was really, really confused at start, but Yeah. Now with these like characters, like DJ said, like they're all not major characters, and Blue Beetle no references at all. And I honestly just absolutely love Peacemaker series, so I would love to see season 2, season 3, everything. 5 season, give me.
For sure. I think a lot of people are on the same page as you, man. So putting all the confusion aside, let's just forget about talking about confusion. Because you guys have heard my opinions. I've talked about it on the show on Wednesday. I've talked about it ad nauseum. So let's put all that behind us for just a second, and let's just talk about the characters specifically: Vigilante, Peacemaker, Waller, Blue Beetle, without talking about controversy of like, oh, but they got rid of Henry and they got rid of that. Like I've totally been guilty of doing. So totally understand where everyone coming from with that. How do we feel about these characters specifically coming to the DCU? Is there one that you're like super excited to see continue? Is there one that you would have, it's like take it or leave it? For me personally, like I am glad Viola Davis is staying as Waller, if I'm being honest from the character perspective, because she has been perfectly cast in that role. She has been great every time that she showed up, even in the 2016 Suicide Squad movie, which isn't the greatest movie. She's great in it. And when she came back for the Suicide Squad, she was even better. And John Cena's Peacemaker. I mean, he is incredibly entertaining as that character for sure. So it's going to be fun to see more of him. I'm not going to lie. So how are we feeling about these characters specifically? I'll start with you, Frank. And is there one specifically that you're like most excited to see continue?
Yeah. I did mention I can't wait for Peacemaker season 2 for sure. And Viola Davis, she's the technically she's like the Nick Fury right now of the DCEU, really. And I enjoyed Blue Beetle. I enjoyed the origin story. So for that character to come back, not just in like, let's say if there is gonna be a sequel down the line, I would really love it for that to be a team up, but in just any other DCU property, for that character to absolutely show up would be amazing.
For sure. How about you, DJ?
Yeah. So first of all, can we get together sometime and have the Zach Milne members talk turn into a recreating the dance from the start of Peacemaker? Because that would be really cool.
Sign me up. I'm in.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yes,
I'm
that'd
in.
be great.
No, all jokes aside, I mean, not that that's a real joke. I love the Peacemaker show. Vigilante was a pleasant surprise for me from that, so I'm excited to see those characters move on. Blue Beetle, I mean, I've got his figure on my desk here. I love Blue Beetle. I thought that was fantastic for what it was. And the one I'm most excited for is Viola Davis coming back as Waller, because that's not what I thought would happen when they're talking about Reboot. I thought, yeah, they'll recast Waller again, if they even bring back Waller for something in the future. And Viola Davis she is golden. Like, no matter what she's doing, whether it's playing Amanda Waller, whether it's the Woman King, whatever she's doing is always on point. And having somebody of that caliber in the DCU is absolutely a positive, no matter what area you're looking at of it.
For sure. And Dark, how about you?
So yeah, everyone was just fantastic, and honestly, I didn't expect. Like, I kind of knew that Blue Beetle would be in DCU. So yeah, I mean, like, I'm excited for everyone to see everyone back. But I think my standout is actually Vigilante. When he put that chainsaw on and like, or like, yeah, and he just his humor, honestly, just amazing.
Yeah, he was a great character. I love the interrogation when he's like changing his facial expression so they can't get a clear mark on what he looks like. That was really funny. And Jonah, how about you?
So again, like you said, fully focused on positivity, which is honestly super refreshing, like you said, considering all of the hot button stuff that gets clicks. But on a positive note, all 4 of these are awesome. They really are. No problem with a single one of these. Viola Davis, like you guys all said, completely agree 100%. She is the backbone, and I am really excited to see what she's going to do in the future. I thought Zolo Maridueña as Blue Beetle, no issues with him whatsoever. So excited And one of my biggest worries when I saw that the Blue Beetle movie failed at the box office is I was like, oh crap, are they actually going to commit to him in the future? And I'm glad that it sounds like they're really digging in on that, because he is a great, like the Spider-Man, like the Peter Parker of the MCU would be Blue Beetle in the DCU. And I really hope he kind of fills that role. And like everyone else said, Peacemaker was a season, like a TV show that I walked into having no idea how good it was going to be. I thought it was going to suck, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my duties. I'm going to watch this show and see what happens. And I walked out going, dude, this is incredible. This is awesome. John Cena blows it out of the park. He has both charisma, but he also is serious. He displays a lot of emotions that most wrestlers turn actors don't have. I'm looking at you, Dwayne Johnson. Get your act together. You only know how to do one thing, and that's stare. Figure your stuff out, my dude. Anyway, but John Cena is amazing, and I'm so excited we get him in the DCU. And then Vigilante, Dark, I'm with you 100%. Vigilante is like, yes, he is the Deadpool of the DCU, but that's a good thing. When was Deadpool considered a bad thing? So for me, it's like, I love the fact that he is just this chaotic good, where you have no idea what he's going to do. When he lashed out at all of those racist guys in the jail, dude, my wife and I were just burst out laughing. And he commands such a chaotic presence on screen. And all 4 of these people are people that I want to see more of, which excites me even more. So forget about the fact that, it's people that were already in James Gunn's previous universe, because when is that really a bad thing? Why are we upset about having good characters moved over? So that really, really, really excites me.
All right. Well, we'll end this with another buy or sell. Do we buy or sell the fact that these characters are going to be carrying over into the DCU? 3, 2, 1, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Bing bong. Zach,
I still want
explain yourself.
I still want the clean slate. This doesn't change that.
Oh my god!
But I'm glad that you all are excited for this, man. And you know what? I could be won over the minute that they start the DCU, and I don't know, John Cena comes out and interacts with the new Superman. If the scene is great, all will probably be forgotten, and I'll probably just buy right into it. But at the moment, right now, while they are great characters, and I am excited to see some of them return, I still want that clean slate, and that hasn't changed for me.
I'm unsubscribing from Zach for 1 second, and I'm going to resubscribe. Hang on. I am unsubscribing.
Oh,
okay, and now I'm subscribed again. Okay, we're back.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. 80's giving the 90s, though. He's giving it 2 thumbs up, so I'm way outnumbered there. And we got Dark.
Representation matters. Let's go.
25.
Listen, Zach, we are going to be keeping a close eye on you when
we're watching you.
Starts.
Oh, I'm totally prepared to be like eating crow and just being like, you know what, guys, it works. James Gunn found a way, and it works out well.
What does that even mean? Eating crow? I always hear that, but
it basically means like admitting you're wrong.
Like, where did that expression come from? Like,
I can't remember.
Interesting.
I can't remember where that expression comes from, but I know it's an expression.
What kind of 1880s form of language is that?
Aaron Austin, he also gives it a thumbs up. He says that Peacemaker is his favorite, and he's glad it's moving over. I was confused by how much I enjoyed that. Well
said.
That's funny.
He's
also asking, has anyone here seen Adventures with Superman? They need to pull something like that off with the live action. I haven't seen it yet.
I heard good things about it. Yeah, same. I heard good stuff about it.
Jack Wade is awesome.
Yes, he is. It's very anime.
That's what it looks like.
I love it.
I don't like anime, but I love it.
Yeah,
I love anime, so perfect.
Well, that's awesome. Well, and with that, guys, that is the show. That was our Members Talk Live for today. I want to thank all you guys, all you beautiful members, for being here watching, and all you beautiful members who are here joining in the show. Tell people where they can find you. Let's start with Frank.
Yeah. So everybody can find me as Optimistic Forever on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, X, and subscribe if you haven't, and follow if you haven't yet either. And everybody have a good weekend.
All right. And Jonah?
All right, guys. So you can find me at The Cosmic Broadcast on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. That's where I'm on the most. Going to be pumping out a lot of Star Wars projects in the next couple weeks, so be on the lookout for that. And then also, for the first time ever announced on the stream, my wife and I will be doing a live stream together in the near future. So be on the lookout for that. See you guys soon.
Oh, that's exciting.
Nice.
DJ?
Yeah, and since I missed the start of this, RIP Michael Gambon, huge part of my childhood. My name is DJ Movie Time Minute. Got my channel on YouTube. I'm on all the other social media platforms, and I will have my newest Does It Hold Up video on Batman 1966 coming out hopefully today.
Excellent. And dark movies.
So you can find me on dark movies like YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and I have also an announcement that is coming in a video that I'm editing right now. So be sure to look out for that.
All right, I'm very excited to hear that, man. And with that, the question now goes to you guys, or the questions. What are your thoughts on Michael Gambon's passing? Was he a part of your childhood? How did he influence you? Oceangate Titan, do you think it's too soon for a movie? What do you think about these DCEU characters transferring over to the DCU? And what do you think about The Office getting a reboot? We want to hear all your thoughts and opinions. Comment down below and let us know.